Well, we're taking a look at a different spot fire, but it's from the same Saddleback fire, or the Yarnell fire. This seems to be some sort of pallets in a yard. This is I'm going to kind of show you where this is, opposed to the actual what we've been looking at for the most part. There you go. This is the area that's been burning. This is going to be the Yarnell fire that's been making its way up into the hillside. Then you come down past the 210, and then there's a spot fire that far away. And again, this is definitely going to be from that same fire. This is going to be embers that made their way out here to this yard. I don't
That's what she just said, right? It's going to be more than that. I just seen all those fire things over here. Okay. There you go. That is the Oak Ridge Estates right there, Craig. Yeah, it's bouncing us pretty good here. It's up and down pretty hard a few times here, and then they get smooth, and then when you settle down, it goes again. But that Oak Ridge Estates that Margaret was talking about from LA City Fire is right there. You see the resources in there. They pushed in and have really lined that road. Now, this area here burned during the Sayer fire. I believe that was probably about 5 years ago. I'm sure we can check on that. But all these manufactured homes that were in this area were just completely destroyed, and during the Sayer fire, and now they got another fire coming at them on that ridge line. When we're listening to the fire helicopters, they're working that ridge line there, trying to stop that fire. There are bulldozers down in there cutting fire lines. We've been trying to look for them down in there. They're very hard to spot at times. You see just little lights like right there at Colton showing you, but they're in there trying to cut a line to keep that fire away from the Oak Ridge Estates. So we'll keep an eye on that and bring you more as it becomes available. What? Oh. Yeah, you can see him doing just right below where you're looking there. No worries. Taking a run. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That thing is screaming. Uh-oh. Okay. Hey, Craig, you jumped the 5. I think this is the Sunshine landfill. Right? Right. Okay, okay, just go out, show the thing, but we'll show it how far it jumped. Yeah, it's worse news for the LA City and County Fire down here. Wow, just another power line went off. As we come out, we're going to show you that's the furthest east, northeast part of the fire. And as we come down towards the 210-5 interchange right there, and now the fire has jumped the 5 and working up the hill here along Balboa. That's that little road down there at the bottom. That's Balboa as it works its way under the 5 and is now burning up into the hills up towards would be Oat Mountain is the area that we would recognize. Sunshine Landfill is up in here as well, but it's a real open area. a lot of tall trees, a lot of heavy brush up in here, and getting up into this area, it is going to take off. There's a lot of fuel up in there, and then there's houses along the north side of Balboa, just a little further to the west. You see right in there, and that's going to get up along Cesnon Road, which has been just hammered by fire over the years up in that area, working its way out west. But you can see how far it jumped. I mean, there's got to be a good half mile, 3/4 mile gap between the two fires as it jumped over the 5 freeway, more than likely an ember cast that went across. You can see that gap between the two fires. And so now they got fire burning on the other side of the freeway, basically a new fire for them. They're going to have to start moving resources over here to try to get on that. There is not a lot of access in that area. It's pretty much uphill towards that landfill area, and then to the west you start getting into the houses along Balboa, and then Cesnon Road comes off of there and works its way all the way around the foothills towards Porter Ranch, but long ways from that point. But it's there. You've seen the characteristics and behavior of this fire just ripping through, and has gone now. The report we just heard from the incident commander, they're at 250 acres. So I've been in the air now for about an hour and 52 minutes on this fire, and it's gone from about, like I said, maybe 5 to 6 acres behind those houses to now 250 acres, and still growing very quickly. And as we come out, we'll go back over to that Oak Ridge community where they were really concerned about it getting towards them. Right in that area, you see firefighting helicopters there, and then a large contingency of firefighting apparatus on the road going up into that manufactured home estates. You see them just parked all through there, because as we saw out there in Riverside County, it gets into those homes and it just takes off because they're so close together, and the materials they're built with are so flammable it's hard for them to stop it. So they have bulldozers, firefighting helicopters, and hand crews working that portion, the northeast portion of the fire, which is north of the 210 and east of Yarnell, and then all the way up in the hills. And we watched it make this run up the top of this hill and started pouring over into the area up on top, trying to work its way over. So they got fire running in all different directions. You see this firefighting helicopter using its searchlights to watch for wires as it comes in. It goes in very slowly, trying to check it out where it needs to go, and then maybe tries to drop in there and hit the head of that fire to slow it down. But right now, that area up where he's at is very inaccessible, and these winds are not helping these firefighting helicopters do much to slow this thing down. Say what? I have an hour. Yeah. Man, this thing is really, see it jumping up the hill. All right, right over the reservoir at 47. This fire is right on the, it's in the, in fact, it's in the, right there. That's the juvenile hall. That is the juvenile hall, the Sylmar juvenile hall. What's that burning, man? That black, whatever that is right there. Yeah. Yeah, you can see right there, that's where it jumped the 5 freeway. It's burning right to the north of Balboa. That's that little road right there at the base, and then you have the houses to the west. This thing has grown. We showed it to you just about 10 minutes ago, and it was just a bit of a spot fire, but you see now it has grown completely out, and it's going to start working uphill towards the, I believe it's the Sunshine dump that's up in that area, but there's houses right along Balboa there that work their way along the base of the foothills that work out west towards the Cessnon Road area and Melvity Park area in that area. But it's totally inaccessible up here. It goes straight uphill from here, and it goes up in that open area where the dump is. I see used up in that area. But this thing has just jumped and is now even burning closer to the 5 freeway, just above the 210. Right in the Newhall Pass there. So right now the 5 freeway, there are cars still on the 5 freeway. I can see them coming out of the smoke. I don't know how long they're going to allow that to go on, but there's fire burning right across the top of the freeway, just to the north of our picture right there. And you can see there. Now as we swing around, I want to show you right down here at the base, bottom of the screen. This is the Juvenile Detention Center out here, Sylmar Juvenile Hall. And you see there's a fire burning right on the edge of it. There's some type of building on fire right there. You can tell by the very black smoke in there that's burning and coming out, and then the brush around that is burning as well. And it's right on the edge of the facility here. So I'm sure they're already starting evacuations from here earlier on, because this fire was really moving in this direction in a very rapid pace. But you see right there as we come out, that's the yard area of the facility, and it's surrounded by very high walls, but you have the fire going right over the embers, going right over the top of it, and then there's foliage around the edges. So that's what they've been dealing with, is this stuff's been dropping into neighborhoods and setting fires within the neighborhoods and spreading out from there. But you see fire resources here trying to work this, but I really can't tell what's burning there right next to that bowl. It's burning very hot with a very heavy black smoke coming off, which tells me it's some type of structure or vehicle that's burning here, not shrubs or brush. But as we come back out, just to show you how big this fire has gotten over the last 2 hours as it's been burning. And then once again, we talk about the Oak Ridge Estates up there to the right. They have a defensive line there to keep it away from there, but they also have fire burning uphill around the top of it, and they're going to have to deal with that as well, because as it works its way around the top, you still have the wind coming down the hill, and it'll start casting embers into that neighborhood. And that, like I said, that neighborhood Okay, that one we just showed next to the, hang on a second. Morrison Healthcare Food Services, okay. Oh, okay. I can't go over there because we lose the stupid signal. What was he asking? What was, all right. Okay. Roger. That's what he's looking at. What you need? Where? What was it, a condo? I bet you it's over here. See, it's right there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to move away from it so we get a better picture of it. I'll swing around here. No, actually, it was the strobe lights from the helicopters. I'm moving in position. We're trying to get a position. Another spot fire just kicked off over here to the west. I'll have Colton come out, swing across the 5 freeway over here towards Balboa, and you'll see right there. There's the fire we had. There's another spot. Another, I would give that a half mile, 3/4 of a mile away, burning right along the top of the road here. That Cesnon Road that runs off of Balboa. And back to the right, there is evacuations going because there's a condominium complex that's being threatened by these flames right here, just off Balboa. So let me send it back down to you, Mike, Chair. Correct. I believe that says none right along that. I think it is. Where are you at? Okay. Still moving. Spotted again. Go ahead. No, I could stay. I don't know, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I can stay at least 3. What about you? Yeah. All right, that's good. We're going to need a fuel break here in about another 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. No. All right. I hear some type of air attack also coming in. 531 here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Try that again. I have about 35, if I stretch it, 40 minutes. So, yeah, it'll be close. Wow, that thing is really kicked off, isn't it? This is west of the 5 freeway, Craig. All right. Well, the 5 is still moving. They still have traffic on the 5, and that's unbelievable. Like, fire's burning clean across the top of it. You see right there, the cars coming out from underneath the column of smoke, but they do have the 210 shut down. So, yeah, it's a mess. But you see right here on Balboa that comes away from the 5, you have a line of fire trucks working their way towards this fire. And that was just a little spot fire working around. Let's have Colton pull out and show you how big this fire's gotten. This thing just was a spot fire here, about 20 minutes ago. You see it's wrapped all the way around these houses that border Balboa and Cesnon over here, and it's just working its way to the west and burning at a very rapid rate of spread, being pushed by that winds coming through the Newhall Pass. And firefighters cannot get ahead of this. They've been over here with the helicopters working, trying to protect the structures that are closest to the fire. We had a condominium complex here that was threatened right here off of Balboa, right in there as we push in. And they worked it as hard as they could with the water drops, but the wind was just taking the water and blowing it away as they came down. There are still power lines, I just got bumped, power lines right in this area here that they're dealing with as well. So now they got the crews coming in, more resources are arriving there on Balboa, well now going up and starting to attack. We've just listened to the fire command, incident commander here. They've now split this fire. The county fire department will handle everything to the east of the 5 freeway over towards the 210, and the city fire now will handle anything to the west along Balboa here. And air assets will be doing that so they can deconflict some of the runs that they've been making trying to get in here. So now the air assets, not to say the ground troops, but the air assets have separated now to where they are fighting on either side of this freeway. And we just got the first CAL FIRE helicopter here assisting as well. So I guarantee you they've ordered up assets for first light in the morning so they can get in here and start fighting this thing. So let me set it back down to you. Okay. Craig, that's the same thing Rick's looking at. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's wide open right along Balboa to the north, and then Cesnon kind of works its way up into the foothills, and everything above that is wide open. And that's the big hill that runs up around, I believe it's Sunshine Landfill, and as it goes up towards Oat Mountain, where one of our receive sites transmitter is located, that is all open land. And then past that, up in the hills, is that Southern California gas facilities that's up there to work up in that area. So if it gets up into there, that's going to change the dynamics of this fire altogether. So there's a lot of room to run. It's got a lot of wind behind it. And so right now, it's a very dangerous fire burning in behind these houses here west of the 5 freeway and right along the north border of Balboa. You see right here, it's burned almost right down to Balboa, and that's the LA County sanitation right there, or LA City sanitation facility. And you see the vehicles working on Balboa right there as that fire works its way down. And just to the left of that is where the community starts. And they've started a defensive position there to try to keep it out, but it's wrapped all the way around. And as I said, this started with a very small spot fire that just kicked across the freeway and started burning, and then off to the races it went. So it's got a lot of room to run, a lot of uphill area to burn here. And as we spoke before, the fire with the wind behind it going uphill, it's going to be unable to get in front of this. So Mike and Sharon, let me send it back down to you. Yarnell and Foothill. That's over here. We were showing you the building Rick was showing. See it? Foothill is right along the 210, and Yarnell's right in there. Okay. I think that's what she's looking at, right? I think she's looking at the same thing that Rick is looking at there, Craig. That's Yarnell Foothill right there. Is that like a outbuilding there? Did you see that just fly up in the air? Yeah, it might have been a propane bottle maybe. And that's Foothill Yarnell. By the juvenile hall? Yeah, okay. I got it too. Have you heard it? Now you're back over there. Yeah. That's 5 out your left door. Well, I can't see it. My headset's going. Hold on. Okay. Wait. Ooh, there's a big open spot fire right here down. Put it out your window. Yeah, that's right. This is just a spot fire that kicked off here just a few seconds ago. You see how fast it's burning out in all directions, but mainly to the west, being driven by that smoke or by the wind that's coming through here. So this is what they're dealing with. They get fires burning all around them, and so the firefighters just trying to stay ahead of it as it goes along. But this firefight is they just can't keep up with it because it's burning too fast. It's jumping the lines, jumping the freeways at places that it would normally be able to hold it at, as just because of the wind throwing those embers across the freeway. burning now on the west side of the 5 freeway and all along the north side of the 210 up in the hills around the Oak Ridge Drive area. And it's just amazing how fast this thing grew from the time we rolled on scene. First overhead on this, it was just a small fire behind some houses on Oak Ridge Drive, and now look at it. It's burned clean up the hill, and that's starting to lap at the very top of the hill above Oak Ridge Drive, and working its way up there. Then once it gets up to that point, it's going to get into that high chaparral and large brush that's up in that area. The Oak Ridge Estates that you were speaking of is right here, and you can see that the fire has slowed down just a bit, but they do have a lot of fire assets in that manufactured home area to guard against any type of ember drop that goes into there. So it looks like they've kind of slowed that down a bit. A lot of firefighting helicopters dropping in that area to slow it down, as well as bulldozers working that area. But you can just see as we swing around to the left how far this fire has gone from the origination point all the way over here to the 210-5 interchange, jumps the 210 or 5, burns right along Balboa here, continuing on to the west, and then coming down to the edge of Cesnon Road that goes along the foothills over here along Balboa, and then it's along Cesnon, and then above that is just nothing but high terrain and Oat Mountain that it can burn up towards. But you can just see the flames are completely out of control, being driven by this high winds working through the area. So Mike and Cher, let me send it back down to you. Five has all three. We're just going to move a little bit over here to the south. Yeah, out in front of you guys. Huh? Look how far it's gone, man. Yeah, let's do it now. Okay. There. Yeah. Okay. I want to swing around and go back to the west here. Okay. 5's turning around here over the reservoir, and it's work out to the west. I think I got 7 down to the south there. Yes, I'll be good till Mark gets in. What do you feel like? Say 20 minutes. 2-0, 2-0. I'd say about 20 minutes minimum, 30 minutes max. Well, they finally stopped the 5 freeway. Huh? I'll move back to the east. All right. That's right. It's really coming through this gap here at the Newhall Pass as the fire comes across that 5 freeway, and it's moved now another 2 miles to the west. I kind of went out here to take a look, but you see right here, Colton Von Pertz is showing you here. This is the west end of the fire. You can see how far it's gone, and it's going up the hill as well, but it's just real hard to see through all the smoke. We kind of slid over here to take a look to see how far it's gone, but then we'll just keep panning to the right and start heading back towards the origination as it burns all along the hills there. There's the 5 freeway at the gap, and then up the hill behind the Oak Ridge Drive area where it started. And so it's just something else here. Actually, it's Saddle Ridge Road where it started, and up the hill from there. So the firefighters are dealing with very erratic winds on the ground. We're dealing with it up here as well. But the guys in the helicopters down there are trying their best to put as much water on as far as they can. Now, the separation of responsibility is for the air units only. The county air units are working east of the 5 freeway, and the city ones are working west of the freeway, because the area is just so large. And now we have 2 CAL FIRE helicopters that are here assisting as well. So they're spreading out the resources. The ground, unbelievable amount of units that are down here. In fact, the 5 freeway north just got shut down. I'll have Colton just tilt down here and show you the 5 freeway right next to the San Fernando Reservoir. You see right there, it stopped going north, and then it's also jammed up a line of fire trucks trying to get to this scene. So, you know, this is what happens when they try to get people up here. Now you see the CHP moving that right lane out to let those fire trucks get through and up here, but there are just lines after lines of trucks coming in on the 210, on the 5 freeway, and up the 405 to go up help their fight up here to bring in more resources, more manpower, because the area that is being covered now is just massive. The last official word we heard from the incident commander on the ground was 250 acres, but it has grown since then. I would just estimate over at least 300 acres, possibly 350, because as far as it's gone to the west, it just took off. That little spot fire that kicked off just about 11:15ish. It just now has raced off and is on its way to the west. So we'll keep an eye on it for you, Mike, and share up here and bring any more as it becomes available. So let me send it back to you. Copy. Go get fuel. Go get fuel. All right, I got you in the turn. I'm going to wait till you pass. Are you going to continue out west? All right, I'm going to drop it down 35, head for Whiteman. I'll be back. We're just going to go get some gas and some more water and get back on the road here. Oh yeah, we're here till 3 a.m.
Oh. Any structures in there that you see? Or further down? Show me that overlay again. Yes, you're exactly right, Mark. This is going to be the northwestern edge of Granada Hills, right along Louise, which kind of skirts off of Cessnon. And the next stop for this fire, and I've got to say this because the next stop is Porter Ranch. If you live in Porter Ranch or know somebody in Porter Ranch, it's time to start preparing. At the rate that this fire is continuing to spread to the west, if these winds are going to continue, Porter Ranch is the next stop for this fire. I think Granada Hills has been relatively lucky in the sense that it's mostly parkland up there that's been going up in flames. We will see when the sun comes up what damage has been done in Bee Canyon. But for the most part, this fire, as you can see here, has stayed north of the suburb, north of Cessnon, north, in this case, of Louise Avenue. If it continues in this direction, though, the next stop is Porter Ranch. It's a small community, but it is going to be under the gun here in the next several hours if this fire continues to behave the way it has. And if you've been watching us this evening, you've seen how fast this fire has spread. At this rate of spread, Porter Ranch needs to start packing up. Right at the front window here, it looks like structures. There's some structures up. Okay, we're going to pan over. I see a little flare up here that's getting really close to some homes along Cessnon Drive once again. So we'll go ahead and see if we can coordinate the shot here. Widen out a little bit. That's it. Going to be just to the left. Yeah, right along Orozco Street, Orozco and Cessnon, right in there. Push in right in there, Kyle. And I think we may have, if it's just brush, it's adjacent to some homes. We'll go ahead and focus that up and see. It looks like some trees that are burning up there. We'll go ahead and widen out a little bit. Give me that overlay, and we'll see what it looks like on the other side of Orozco Street. Again, it's very difficult to tell. Looks like that's some parkland in between a group of homes that's caught on fire. So some grassy area and some trees that have caught on fire. But take a look at those streets and how close they are. Van Gogh Street, Orozco Street, Whistler Avenue. That entire area here is a fire literally in their backyard. Yes. And some more flames north of Cessnon over to the left. Let's go ahead and pan over to the left a little bit and tilt up. You'll see some more flames on the north side of Cessnon, right there on the left-hand side of your screen, off of Tuscan Drive. That looks to be in the backyard of some more homes along Tuscan Drive. We'll go ahead and pop up that daytime satellite, and you can see, if you pan down a little bit, you'll see some homes right along Tuscan Drive, once again with a little bit of a flare-up right up that embankment there. We haven't physically seen it, but that doesn't mean it's not happening, and that's for two reasons. A, it's very dark, and B, the smoky situation up here in the north end of the San Fernando Valley is really, really thick. It's difficult to see, and it's difficult to breathe, especially if you're down on the ground there. So it's going to be one of those situations where we may not see the damage. We've seen fire come very, very close, really knocking on the door of some really nice homes in certain areas and some other commercial properties. You saw that public storage facility off of the 210 freeway. Literally, we saw flames pushing right up against the structures. We will have to wait, in some cases, till daybreak before we actually see the scope of whatever damage may be being done as we speak right now. It's just so difficult to tell up here between the smoke and the lack of light. And you can imagine that the firefighters are dealing with those same obstacles, by the way, which makes their job all that much more tougher. But we just don't know. We have not seen clear structures with flames shooting through the roof like we often do. But again, it could just be that it's just too dark and smoky. It is, and it's up in a more rural area up there. Not a whole lot in terms of structures, but those flames definitely racing up that ridgeline and getting closer. I mean, they, depending on the winds, if they do shift, we could see this fire shift directions. Would not be out of the question. I would leave that to Dallas, but that would put it more in the direction of Santa Clarita at some point by tomorrow morning, if it starts to race up that hillside. But that's certainly an area of concern, but as the winds shift from east to west right now, I think all eyes are on the northern parts of Granada Hills here, and like I said, I think Porter Ranch has to be waking up at the very least right now. What's this flare up here, Kyle? Right along, what is that? This road right here off the front left? Thank you. Right there, off the 5. Yes. Any buildings there along Balboa? How much more time? 30 minutes. 30 minutes, Christina. Oh, this crew is good for at least another, till what, like 3 a.m. at least. Okay. Okay, fine. Look at this. New evacuation order, Booth. Yep, could happen. about 25 minutes. Yeah, we're keeping an eye on this as it continues to trek towards the west. And no sooner did I mention Porter Ranch, they have now issued a mandatory evacuation order for the area north of Cessnon from Balboa to Tampa, north of Cessna, is now under a mandatory evacuation order. That's going to be the northern edge of Granada Hills, including parts of Porter Ranch, and that brings to mind the Aliso Canyon gas facility, which is right up in that canyon, and that is going to be an area of concern. Something that has always been an area of concern may very well be tested tonight if this fire continues in that direction. It could be a real catastrophe up there, but a mandatory evacuation order now in effect for residents who live in that area, and that is something that we really need to get out, because if it's north of Cessna, I mean, if you live south of Cessna, that doesn't mean you're in the clear. You need to be paying attention too. As I mentioned earlier, I think all of Porter Ranch is really under the gun based on the spread that we're seeing here. North of Cessna, from Balboa to Tampa. We'll go ahead and throw that overlay up. All right, push it on the fire. Okay. All right, we need to move over to the west, new hotspot, moving over towards Porter Ranch over there. That over there. Everybody, right over there. You're looking at it. That's it. That's the one you're looking at. Yes. Yeah, I did. And so let's see what that looks like there. What does that look like during the day? All right. And so, and that is, all right. Okay. Show me those roads. on the sky map there. Yep, like that. Bull Canyon, Bull Canyon. No, stay right there. All right. Okay. Well, that's the horse train. There's a horse training facility right here. If you look along Zelza Avenue, there's a horse training facility just south of there, and this is now kind of where we're going to move from Granada Hills into Porter Ranch. The fire, this hotspot that we're looking at right here, which has popped up in the last few minutes, is just to the west of Bull Canyon now. So we are steadily creeping towards the west here along Cessnon Boulevard, now past Bull Canyon Road, and just south of Zelza is one of those horse training facilities, Michelle. And then once you make it past there, then you are basically on the doorstep of Porter Ranch. All of these streets on the left-hand side, you can see Reseda Boulevard over there. That goes right through Porter Ranch and a number of neighborhoods in this shot right here. We'll go ahead and throw that satellite overlay back up, and you can see all of the homes right there. This is a whole new community that is directly in the path of this fire if these hotspots continue to trend in this direction. That's it. Yeah, well, it's. I mean, we're talking about yards away from that facility. That hotspot right there is skirting along Cessnon Boulevard. So far, this fire has yet, from my vantage point, yet to jump Cessnon. The areas that we've been focusing on and the fire that we've been looking at has all been on the north side of Cessnon. I have not seen it jump to the south side. If it was to jump to the south side, you've got that horse training area, and then a whole nother neighborhood next to that, including the Charter Set Preschool Child Development Center, which is right along Reseda Boulevard, and a number of schools, and Porter Ridge Park is adjacent to that as well. So that's going to be directly in the path here. But you can see Zelza Avenue there. That horse training facility is just south of that. Yeah. Yeah, and if anything, it's going towards the northwest. So there are some that area of Porter Ranch that we've been talking about is directly in the path of this line of fire here. There's another head to this fire, though, that we showed you a little bit earlier. That's kind of trending towards the northwest, kind of venturing towards Calgrove. That's something that we will probably be talking about by morning if it continues in that direction. The winds are blowing all in the west to northwest direction, but these canyons up here kind of create their own weather. It is very windy, obviously, as we've been talking about, upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour, some of these gusts. And there are literally two heads at this point. So the part that's going north, the part of the fire that's trending north, is going in towards, at this hour, really no man's land. I'm not really concerned about anything up there. It's mostly just hillside and open brush. The area that we're really focusing on is this community right here along the northern edge of Granada Hills, and now the northeastern edge of Porter Ranch. This fire is continuing in that direction. It's creeping along Cessnon Boulevard, and wherever hotspots pop up, it's amazing how you see within minutes they do manage to get units into position relatively quickly. But it is frightening to see the speed at which this fire has moved. Only in a couple of hours from where we started, we are now a solid 3, 4, maybe 5 miles away easy from where this fire originated. In Sylmar, the situation is dramatically improved. We'll go ahead and swing it over to the other side of the 5 freeway, Kyle, and you can see the fire is racing uphill up in towards that open hillside. But the area that we were so concerned about, that Saddle Ridge neighborhood, is really faring pretty well right now. In fact, zoom in right there in the south part, the bottom part of your screen there. That's that Yarnell Street and Saddle Ranch, which was surrounded by flames just a couple of hours ago. And now you can see that there are units that have smothered that zone, structure protection in progress, and you don't see any hot spots in that area. Earlier, there were pockets of flames on all sides, including within that community, and now you don't see anything. That entire area at this moment is flame-free. The bulk of the fire in the Sylmar area is now up in the hillside, as you can see near the top of your screen, and the elevation is kind of carrying the fire up that hillside, up those ridge lines, in towards open area, open space. There are power lines up there. There are radio antennas and towers and that kind of thing. But in terms of residential neighborhoods, it's pretty barren up there, and so that's some good news at least. Yep. What is that? Placerita Canyon Road. Placerita Canyon Road. Show me that overlay. Okay. Okay. Hey there, Christina, you up? Did you hear that call? I just saw the tweet on LA County Fire Incident, the order to evacuate SoCal Gas. They're ceasing operations. Flames. Thank you. Okay. That's like, that's up there. I think that's up there, right? Where are you looking? Yeah, he is. He is looking up there. Yep. Thank you. $10. Hey, Tracy, we've got 10 minutes, and then we'll have to refuel. Copy. Copy. Foothill and Sylmar might have an apartment building on fire. We're a little bit of a ways. We got to search for it. Hold on a sec. Do we have a minute to move? Okay. Let's move over there. Sylmar. Yep. Right along the 210. All right, let's pan it over towards Sylmar and follow. If you could find Foothill, Kyle, just kind of follow Foothill along. I don't know the cross, actually. That might be it there. Over to the left. Left. Right in there. Anything in there? I have somewhere on Foothill. So you look for flames. Widen out, Kyle. That's Foothill Boulevard, so let's go right along Foothill till you see fire. Yep, continue. Copy that. Yep, in there maybe. That looks about right. Any fire? Nothing. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. All right, let's stay on this side then. Yeah. Balboa and Cessnon? Balboa and Cessnon. Balboa and Cessnon's going to be over here, though, on this side, in Granada Hills. Look over here. I got fire. That might be in a neighborhood. Fire in the neighborhood over here, right at the left. Up Cessnon. Continue. Right in there. And to the left of that too. Is that houses or is that just brush? There are houses there. Zoom in on those houses. That is a house. Copy. That's a house. Several houses. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. It's these right here. We're good. I'm ready. All right, we're back over in Granada Hills, guys, and we do have our first visual of a structure on fire. This is a group of homes in the neighborhood right along the end of Jolette Avenue, in Granada Hills, north of Cessnon. Now you can see this structure completely up in flames. Looks like a rather large home. There are hot spots surrounding this person's neighbors as well. So this is a community now under siege here in Granada Hills. As you can see, south of Jolette, looks like another house that's on fire as well. Bottom of the screen, we'll push in there, and it looks like somebody else's property is now on fire as well. Well, it's at the end of Jolette Avenue just kind of dead ends up there. That's the area we're talking about. It's kind of a cul-de-sac, and all of these houses now seem to be involved. We'll go ahead and show you what it looks like with our daytime satellite overview, and you can see that there are a whole handful of homes at the end of this cul-de-sac here that are now surrounded by flames. Back. Well, not only that, but they are now issuing evacuation orders further west of Balboa, everything north of the 118 freeway now from Balboa to Topanga. This is an area they are now concerned about for the next 3 to 4 hours, and that is, first of all, speaks to the rate that this fire is continuing to spread, but that is a huge swath of the San Fernando Valley that is now under the gun and should begin preparing for a mandatory evacuation order, but they have given that order out over the radio now from Balboa to Topanga, north of the 118 freeway. And that includes, I think that includes all of Porter Ranch as well. That also includes the SoCal gas facility, which has been ordered to shut down and cease operations as well. That's along Tampa Avenue in that original evacuation order. Tilt up. Pan left. That's actually rural up there, but if you pull out a little bit, Kyle, I want to kind of direct you a little bit over to the west, even further west than we were before. I'm going to ask my pilot, Chris, if we can actually do a little bit of a turnaround here, and we are now encroaching on Porter Ranch here. Look at that, Lawton Way, Edelston Drive, Reseda Boulevard, a new hotspot now popping up in that community at the end of Zelza Avenue. That is very close to that horse training facility that we mentioned just a few moments ago. You can see right along Longacre Avenue, a whole wall of flames now moving in that direction. That's actually going to be west-southwest if you're following the wind direction here. As we continue to follow this fire as it creeps west, it is getting very close to Porter Ranch, and the fears that we've been talking about for the last hour now are coming true in Porter Ranch, guys. Push in there. Tilt down. Push in there. Let's come back over to Joliet again. That fire's continuing to move south. More houses involved off the front left up here. Nice smooth move over to Granada Hills again, and we're seeing new flames just north of Cessnon. You can follow it all the way to the right. Over to the right, widen out. Pan over to the right. Tilt down. Right out our window here, you can see this neighborhood. Over to the right. More to the right. Right in here, I think. Right in there, yep. Top right, and there. Let's get back on that house. Five minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yep. We're going to keep it right here. Oh. Oof. Well, we were looking at Porter Ranch. In fact, I'm looking over there now. I see a new hotspot popping up, but we've actually panned back over towards Granada Hills, where Joliet Avenue is just going up. That's more houses. These are new houses that have started up and are now going up in flames. You can see fire trucks at the end of the cul-de-sac, surely doing their best to get everybody out of there and back to safety, but those structures are now going to be a complete loss. You've got at least a couple of homes on the top of your screen there, and if we widen out, there's a couple near the bottom as well. But look at that one home there. These are rather large homes, by the way, that are a complete loss at the end of Joliet Avenue. Right. Garris Avenue. Yep. That's and a little bit over to a little bit lower. If we go a little bit closer to Cessnon, it looks like some more structures now in danger as well. Tilt down just a little bit down DeCampos Avenue, or down the DeCampos Trail there. It looks like those may just be trees, but they are perilously close to a whole nother neighborhood that is skirting Cessnon Boulevard. Hard to make out. Looks like it's mostly brush, but there are houses down there that are very, very, very close. And as I look further west on Cessnon, the fire is essentially right off of the side of the road. Follow Cessnon. If you tilt down a little bit and then pan over to the left, we'll see a whole new stretch of flames down, tilt down, and you'll see it. Tilt down a little bit more and we'll see continue left, and we'll have a whole new pocket of flames that is threatening this neighborhood here at the end of Cascade Canyon Drive, between Cascade Canyon and Orchid Lease Trail. You can see this is just right along Cessnon Boulevard here. Yeah, just north of there, it looks like it might be just brush. We'll go ahead and throw that overlay. So that fire, again, flirting with Cessnon Boulevard. If it jumps Cessnon, there's a whole neighborhood on the south side. So where it is now, that fire is at bay. But those folks, hopefully, are heeding the precautions and getting out of here, because this fire is very, very close to this community. Continuing now, if we continue west, that wall of flame south of Zelza, if we come back towards Porter Ranch, Chris and Kyle, we'll move back a little bit, and you can see that hot spot that we showed you a couple of minutes ago. Sorry, while we maneuver, just forgive us for just a second. We're going to get into position and show you the eastern edge of Porter Ranch, which has a major flare-up now right along Zelza Avenue. And we'll go ahead and take Reseda down south. Take it a little bit down, tilt down, and you can see that is the edge of Porter Ranch. If we go straight down and to the right, you can see a whole new flare up here at the end of, what street is that, Kyle? Over to the left, and we'll see Celtic Way. At the end of Celtic Way, a whole new body of flames. Tilt down a little more, and you can see that's going to be Lawton Way and Celtic Way, where it kind of meets up with... All right, so that's the structure right there that I was looking at. I'm not sure what that is. It's right off of Longacre Avenue. You can see it right there in the center of your screen, a whole wall of flames approaching that facility. Does not look like houses. Looks like perhaps a school or a rec center on the right side of the screen there. And you can see this is a very, very thick wall of flames that are pushing south towards that building right there. Not sure exactly what it is, but it's right along Rexpin Road and Zelza Avenue, along Longacre. All right, we're good. All right, Tracy, we're out of here. Oh, thank you. We'll be right back. We'll be right back after these words. Keep the shot as we make our way over there. thank you. Whew. Dude. Baptism by fire, is that what they say? That's first, well, kind of, first week. Killing it. Killing it.